The story begins in a city called Hungarian. We see a family where a little child is happily watching cartoons on TV, but suddenly, all TV channels in the city lose their signal. When the signal comes back after a while, only one news broadcast is playing. It shows that a terrifying virus has suddenly spread across the entire world. Hundreds of people are dying because of it. Everyone, everywhere is searching for safe places to survive. This virus is so horrifying that infected people start biting others, and whoever gets bitten also becomes infected. In other words, this was a zombie virus. The news tells everyone to lock themselves wherever they are. Nobody should step outside under any circumstances. When the little kid sees all this on the news, he goes upstairs to tell his mother. But right then, his older sister Abigail comes down and startles him. Then both siblings go together to find their mother. Their mother had already found out about the news. She was packing all their essential belongings and talking to their father about the situation. Their father was a pilot, so he was far away from the city at that moment. He tells his wife that the situation outside is very bad. Since he's so far away, he can't come home quickly, so she shouldn't wait for him at all. She should take the kids and get to a safe place immediately. Hearing this, Abigail's mother doesn't waste a single second. She grabs some essential items and her children and rushes out to their car. By then, screaming could be heard from the surrounding areas. The virus had already spread to their nearby area. Abigail's mother was quickly loading things into the car, but right at that moment, a terrifying zombie jumps on her from behind and bites her. Abigail gets scared and quickly hides under the car. Right before her eyes, several zombies come and start biting her mother and brother. Abigail is terrified, but fortunately the zombies don't notice her and leave. However, her mother and brother had now turned into zombies too. Her mother spots Abigail and immediately comes to attack her. Abigail is terrified, but right then a man named Jack arrives. He was once an army soldier. He shoots Abigail's mother and somehow saves Abigail. Jack knew that Abigail's brother would also slowly turn into a zombie, so before leaving, he shoots her brother as well. Almost 10 years pass after this incident. The world has completely changed now. The entire planet lies empty. There are no people anywhere. Every city's houses and roads are lying completely abandoned. Perhaps no humans are left alive on Earth. Most have either died or turned into zombies wandering around. The world's condition was so bad that nature was completely swallowing the planet. Trees and plants had taken over every corner of Earth. In this destroyed world, we see two people, none other than Jack and Abigail. They're still surviving, but people like them are now extremely rare on this planet. Since the day Jack brought Abigail into his life, he has raised her with so much love and care. He has even risked his own life many times to save her. Currently, he's teaching her how to survive in this destroyed world, how to stay away from zombies, how to stay alert when zombies are nearby, how to live safely in the jungle, and how to hunt for food. He has been teaching her all of this for many years. Abigail has also slowly learned a lot about survival. If Jack hadn't come into her life that day as a child, Abigail's fate would have been the same as her mother and brother. She wouldn't have survived either. Besides, the way Jack raised her with love and affection, Abigail can never repay that debt. That's why she loves Jack like her own father. She considers him her father. Abigail and Jack set up small tents in different locations and spend their nights there. Today, too, while they were sleeping in their tent, they heard a human-like scream from a distance. When Jack goes to check, he finds it was actually a zombie. It was about to attack him, but Abigail shoots and kills it just in time. But even this didn't ease their fear, because they had been surviving in this zombie world for almost 10 years, so they knew very well that zombies never stay alone. They always move in groups, so they were worried that if one zombie was here, there must be many more nearby. They needed to leave this place as quickly as possible. The zombies that exist now are not like they used to be. Over time, they've changed a lot. Before, they had no sense at all and just walked around like living corpses. But now they've become much more advanced. They have their own intelligence and can sense human presence and track them down. They've become far more terrifying than before. Jack and Abigail somehow get through that night. The next morning, they pack everything and head toward a new location. They used horses to travel from one place to another. After traveling quite far, when they reach a hilltop, they look down and spot another survivor fighting zombies and trying to stay alive. He also had a gun for self-defense and was shooting zombies one by one, but there were way too many zombies there. So Abigail and Jack decide to save that person. They set up their guns on the hilltop. Jack tells Abigail that today would be the test of all the target practice he had been teaching her. She should shoot each target very carefully, but only when Jack tells her to. However, Abigail gets hasty and fires too soon. As a result, her bullet hits not only the zombie, but also the man. Jack was quite angry at Abigail for this. After somehow killing the zombies there, they rush to the man, but Jack sees that the bullet hit him right in the chest. There was so much bleeding that they couldn't save him even if they wanted to. The man was writhing in pain. Unable to bear his suffering, Jack puts him out of his misery. The man had a car nearby. Inside the car were many essential survival items like food, water, and medicine, things extremely hard to find in these times. But they hadn't imagined that this survivor had many more companions. Just as they were taking the man's belongings from the car, 3 more vehicles arrive. These were other survivors, just like them. When they see the bullet wound on their companion's chest, they realize it wasn't zombies who killed him. It was Jack and Abigail. So they point their guns at them. Jack and Abigail try to explain that it's not what they think. They were actually trying to save their companion. But the team had a pregnant woman named Megan and her husband David. They believed Jack and Abigail had killed their companion to steal his things. So the entire team advances toward Jack and Abigail with their weapons. The 2 fight back to survive, taking guns from them while trying to explain what really happened. Jack says the whole thing was an accident. While trying to shoot the zombie to save their companion, the bullet accidentally hit him. Besides, there's no time for explanations now because they just killed many zombies and hundreds more are roaming nearby. If they don't leave immediately, they'll all turn into zombies. So everyone should escape together right now. But nobody in that team wanted to listen. They kept arguing that Jack and Abigail had intentionally killed their companion, and this argument was their biggest mistake. Within moments, hundreds of zombies come charging toward them from every direction at incredible speed. Not just from one side, but from all sides. There was no escape route left. Even though everyone had weapons, they couldn't handle so many zombies together. On top of that, these zombies were incredibly strong and fast. Before they could attack one zombie, another would pounce on them. One by one, the zombies bit almost everyone from that team. In the end, hardly anyone from the team survived. But since Jack and Abigail were highly skilled at fighting zombies, they somehow managed to survive. And they were able to save Megan and her husband David. So after everyone else died, only Megan and David were left from that team. Abigail and Jack somehow get them into a car. All 4 of them start fleeing in that car. Even though all the zombies were chasing them, Jack drove at high speed and got far enough away. But midway, their car breaks down. Since the zombies were now quite far behind, they felt somewhat safe. Jack and Abigail get out of the car and tell Megan and David that they had wrongly blamed them. Because of their false accusations, their entire team died. Since they see Jack and Abigail as bad people, the 2 of them will now go their own way. Megan and David should find their own path. Saying this, Jack starts walking forward with Abigail, but shortly after, Megan and David start following them. They now want to stay with them. Jack and Abigail don't object anymore. After walking a long distance together on foot, they reach a small town-like place where there was a spot to stay. They take shelter there for the night. Since nobody had eaten all day, everyone was starving. So first, they all eat a small amount of food together. Then Jack sets up a trap around the place where they're staying. So if any zombie comes, it will get caught in the trap and they'll know about it. After that, they all start planning together about where they'll go next. Jack had a special map. He shows it to Megan and David and points to a location on it, saying they need to go there next. It was basically a boat camp. David asks what a boat camp is. Jack tells him it's a place where many survivors are living together as a team. There are plenty of resources there for people. Besides, since Megan is pregnant, her delivery could happen any time. So getting to that boat camp is extremely important, because there, Megan will have much better facilities for delivery and can even get proper treatment. Jack tells David to take Megan there tomorrow morning. He says the reason he told them about the boat camp was so David and Megan could benefit from it. He can't help them more than this right now. After Jack walks away, Abigail follows him. She was furious with Jack. She absolutely wasn't happy with his decision to send them to the boat camp alone. Abigail knew very well that David alone couldn't possibly take Megan to that camp, because the camp was very far from here. And how could Jack push a pregnant woman towards such danger? If something happens to them on the way, they should help Megan and David reach the camp safely. But Jack tells Abigail, "Have you gone crazy? The help we gave them today is more than enough. We saved them from zombies. We even gave them the correct location for their safety. In today's world, what more can people do? Now we should only think about our own safety. Who are they to us that we should escort them there? We could get into danger on the way too. Besides, didn't you see how they were trying to frame us this morning?" But Abigail tells him that they didn't frame them. They actually told the truth, because even if it was an accident, they were the ones who killed that person. They can't deny this truth. But Jack wasn't willing to listen to anything she said. He clearly tells Abigail that once morning comes, they'll go their separate ways. That's his final decision. Meanwhile, heavy rain was pouring outside. Many zombies had been tracking them and had already reached the car they left in the jungle. and now they were heading toward the place where they had taken shelter, because zombies were now very clever and could easily figure out where humans were living. They all somehow get through the night. In the morning, Abigail goes and sits on the roof of that building feeling upset, but shortly after, 2 zombies come up behind her. Just as they're about to attack her from behind, Abigail senses their presence and immediately starts fighting them, because Jack had already taught her everything about how to fight zombies. Using all her skills, she fights the zombies and kills them. But just then, another zombie comes to attack her. Abigail starts running to escape. She intentionally leads the zombie higher up, and at the edge of a very high point, she cleverly pushes the zombie off. Right at that moment, Jack arrives. Jack was very proud of Abigail today, because everything he had taught her over the years, Abigail had finally put to use. Now they needed to get out of this place as fast as possible. Since several zombies had already found them, there must be many more nearby. While discussing this, they look down and see that many zombies are indeed charging toward their building. But the traps Jack had set around the building also contained some bombs. So when those zombies fall into the traps, the explosions kill them right there. Using this opportunity, Jack takes Abigail and gets out of there. But David was following them again with his wife Megan, repeatedly asking Jack for help. He was begging Jack to at least take them to the camp. But Jack kept refusing because the camp was very far away and getting there would take a lot of time. But then Abigail gets an idea. She says that she grew up in this city as a child. Her father was a pilot, so she had been to the nearby airport many times, and the airport is quite close from here. If they can reach that airport, they'll definitely find small helicopters there. Using a helicopter, they can reach the camp in very little time. But Jack still objects. He asks how Abigail can be so sure that those helicopters will still work. Almost 10 years have passed since the virus hit. Will the helicopter engine still be functional after all this time? And the biggest issue is, why should they take such a huge risk for David and Megan? Abigail tells him she's not asking him to take a risk for them. If they actually find a plane or helicopter there, it'll be useful for themselves in the future too. They can go anywhere with it. Jack knew very well that Abigail was saying all this just to help them, so without further objection, he agrees. Then all 4 of them head toward the airport. Since zombies could be anywhere now, Jack was carefully protecting everyone. Megan was having a lot of difficulty walking. After going some distance, when they pass by a hospital, Jack finds a wheelchair there. They put Megan in it and continue walking. Within a very short time, they reach the airport. And fortunately, inside the airport, they find a small passenger plane. Everyone was thrilled, but the plane wouldn't start at all, so David was trying to get it running. Meanwhile, Jack and Abigail go to a very tall building nearby that had a huge watchtower. Jack wanted to check the zombie situation in the surrounding area from up there. Meanwhile, no matter how hard David tries, he can't start the engine. He gets so frustrated that he starts hitting himself in anger. From the watchtower, Abigail looks through binoculars and sees hundreds of zombies very far away, running toward their location. There were so many that they couldn't possibly fight them off, so Jack and Abigail rush back down. They tell David and Megan that hundreds of zombies are charging toward them. They need to leave this place right now. But they had no way to escape because the plane's engine still hadn't started, so Jack gets his gun ready, prepared to shoot as soon as the zombies arrive. And that's exactly what happens. Within moments, the zombies get very close. Jack was shooting them, trying to slow them down. Meanwhile, David was desperately trying to start the engine. Just when the zombies get dangerously close, at the very last second, the engine finally starts. Everyone quickly jumps into the plane and immediately takes off, but even though the plane started, its speed was very slow. Many zombies had gotten extremely close to the plane, so Jack was swerving the plane left and right trying to escape them. But despite everything, one zombie reaches the plane's door. The zombie was so strong that it actually pulled the door open, but just as the zombie was about to attack them, Jack shoots it and knocks it down. And finally, they somehow managed to take off. They start flying toward the camp. But after going some distance, since the plane's engine was 10 years old, even though it started, the main engine's temperature rises dramatically. Within moments, the main engine explodes. Huge amounts of smoke start pouring out. Jack and everyone are terrified. Suddenly, the engine shuts off completely and the plane starts crashing toward the ground. If it hits the ground directly, the explosion would kill them all. So Jack cleverly restarts the engine just enough to steer the plane into a large tree. The plane gets stuck in the tree's branches and stops right there. They all survive this terrifying plane crash. They somehow get out of the plane and start walking again on foot. But evening is approaching fast. Darkness will cover everything soon. In such conditions, they won't be able to move around outside. So they need to find a safe place as quickly as possible to spend the night. Walking along an abandoned railway track, they eventually find a very old factory lying abandoned. They decide to take shelter there for tonight. After arriving at the factory, they all check the map to see how far the boat camp still is. According to their calculations, it would take about 2 more days to reach there. The boat camp is still very far, but Jack tells David and Megan that no matter how far the boat camp is, he will definitely take them there. Jack was actually feeling sympathy for Megan and David now. As tough as he tries to appear on the outside, deep inside he's actually a very soft-hearted person. Jack gives Megan some food and tells her that he treated them very badly. He doesn't want Megan to be hurt by his behavior. There are actually very painful reasons behind his attitude. Jack tells Megan that about 10 years ago, when the zombie virus spread across the world, the only person he had was his wife. When he heard about the virus, he rushed to save her. But by the time he reached her, it was too late. His wife had completely turned into a zombie. He couldn't accept it at all, but he had to face reality. His wife was trying to attack him, and at one point, he was forced to kill her. That was the most horrifying moment of his life. Since then, he could never forgive himself. He always felt like an animal. His humanity seemed to have completely disappeared. From then on, he killed many people with his own hands. But when Abigail came into his life, he slowly started changing. He began living solely for Abigail. She is now everything to him. That's why he never wants to put her in any kind of danger. He's ready to do anything to keep her safe. And that's exactly why he had been behaving harshly with them about not going to the boat camp. Hearing all this, Megan understands what a good person Jack truly is. On the other side, we see David alone in a quiet corner of the factory. He sits down and tries to end his own life with a gun. But despite many attempts, he can't do it. Here we see that David's leg has a zombie bite mark. A zombie had attacked him a long time ago, but since the wound wasn't very deep, it was taking longer for him to convert. However, David was absolutely certain that he would fully turn into a zombie at any time. He wouldn't get to see his unborn child. Thinking about all this, David was in immense pain. But after some thought, he decides to first take his wife safely to the camp. Then he can end his life with some peace. And if he converts into a zombie before that, he'll end himself right then and there. The next morning, they leave the factory and head straight for the camp. They were walking through a quiet jungle, but David's body condition was getting worse. He was struggling to even walk. Still, he hides his infection from everyone. Nobody noticed anything, but Jack was becoming suspicious of David. He felt David was hiding something. When Abigail takes Megan a bit ahead, David pulls Jack aside from behind. Jack tells David that he figured out a long time ago that David is already infected with the zombie virus. Jack tells him he should have left the team much earlier. His wife is already pregnant, yet he's still staying with them. But David explains that last night he tried to end his life, but before dying, he wants to see his wife and unborn child in a safe place. He just wants to take his wife to the camp, and he promises Jack that he won't harm anyone. He'll end himself before turning into a zombie. Hearing all this, Jack gives David one more chance. That day too, evening approaches as they keep walking. After going some distance, they spot a house in the middle of the jungle. Lights were on inside, so they could tell someone was living there. Jack wanted to confirm first whether there were any zombies inside, but Megan's condition was really bad after walking all day. So Abigail quickly goes forward and shouts for help in front of the house. She says they haven't come to harm anyone. They're just ordinary survivors who need shelter for one night because they have a pregnant woman with them. Hearing Abigail, a man comes out from inside. His name is Norden. Seeing their situation, Norden agrees to give them shelter. But he has one condition. To stay here, they must leave all their weapons outside. Jack had no other choice, so they agree. Norden welcomes them all inside and starts telling them about himself. He says he was once a very big scientist and has been involved in various research for a long time. Because of his research, his house still has electricity. That's why all kinds of equipment and items are scattered throughout his home. Norden serves them food, and the food was all expensive, high-quality stuff that doesn't exist anywhere in the current world. None of them had eaten such food in a very long time, so they were eating like crazy. After the meal, Norden even brings them expensive drinks. Everyone was amazed at how Norden has all this in such a devastated world. Norden explains that he produces everything inside his house through his research. He reveals that he had moved to this house even before the zombie virus hit because he hated the noise of humans. So he intentionally built his home in this deep jungle and has been living here for many years. Even after the zombie virus, his life didn't change much. In fact, he sees the zombie virus positively because humans had become extremely selfish. They killed each other for their own interests. They were destroying the planet and had practically finished off nature. But after the zombie virus, even though Earth was destroyed, nature is now recovering its beauty. Greenery is coming back to life everywhere. Everything in nature is slowly repairing itself. However, according to Norden, zombies are actually an updated version of humans. Even after becoming zombies, their nature hasn't changed. They're still harming people for no reason, just like before. Norden was making fun of humans while saying all this, but nobody in Jack's team liked his views. They were all getting angry. because how can anyone call such a situation good and consider this humanless world normal? If there are no humans, what's the point of a healthy planet? Even though they all disagreed with Norden, nobody said anything because they were only there for one night and didn't want unnecessary trouble. David wasn't feeling well, so he makes an excuse and goes to the washroom. He lifts his shirt and sees the zombie virus has now started spreading across his entire body. He somehow freshens up and comes back out, but outside, he finds all three of his teammates unconscious on the floor, and standing in front of them is Norden. David gets very scared. Norden says he's going to try his new invention on them. Norden was wearing a special device on his hand. This device can apparently control zombies. Since David is now half zombie, he also can't do anything against the device. He can't even get close to Norden. Norden had actually built this device through years of research. Inside the device was a radiation-like power that prevents zombies from coming near it. With this device, Norden basically had the entire world in his hands. Norden then ties all four of them in his basement. Several hours later, they all regain consciousness. None of them could believe Norden had done this to them. Norden tells them that his wife turned into a zombie many years ago, but he loves her so much that he has kept her with him till today. To keep his wife alive, he needed humans. So he traps people like this and feeds them to his wife one by one. This is how he has kept his wife alive for all these years. He built this device by experimenting on his wife. With it, he plans to control all zombies and take over the entire world, so he and his wife can live happily forever. Megan looks at David's leg and realizes her husband is also infected with the zombie virus. He had been hiding this truth from them all along. Norden releases his wife from a cage and uses his device to control her, ordering her to infect all four of them. But Norden didn't know that Jack and Abigail were extremely skilled fighters who had been surviving for 10 years. So when the zombie wife approaches, Jack and Abigail start fighting even while tied up. Jack was a soldier, so this was nothing for him. The zombie couldn't harm them. Meanwhile, David's body had gained some strength. David manages to free himself, kills the zombie, and frees his companions. Then in a rage, he goes after Norden, but Norden escapes through the back. They quickly gather their belongings and weapons and rush out of the house. It wasn't fully morning yet and it was still dark, but fortunately they find a car, which was actually Norden's. They all get in and drive toward the camp. In the dark jungle, zombies were scattered everywhere and chasing their car, but they managed to drive fast enough to get far ahead. But then a huge tree had fallen across the road. While they were clearing it, zombies surrounded them again from all sides. Everyone was shooting to hold them off, but the number of zombies kept growing so much that nothing was working. So David decides to attract the zombies toward himself and tells the others to escape because he's going to turn into a zombie anyway. But right then, a zombie attacks him from behind and kills him. Meanwhile, Abigail and Jack were also shooting zombies. When Megan's condition worsens badly, Jack picks her up and carries her forward while Abigail covers them from behind. Running like this for a long distance, they finally reach very close to the boat camp. Jack and Abigail scream for help from the soldiers there because many zombies were right behind them. Within moments, the soldiers hear their cries and start shooting the zombies from a distance. The camp had 2 skilled snipers who were holding the zombies back. Since there was a river in front of the boat camp, Jack's group couldn't go further, but shortly, a boat comes to get them. And finally, all 3 of them somehow reach the boat camp. After arriving, they see the camp is actually located on a river. The entire camp is basically a massive ship with plenty of food, water, and medicine. There are even special facilities for pregnant women's delivery. So Megan was now much safer. She was given a special room. The next morning, we see Norden, who had been hiding since last night. Seeing dead zombies everywhere makes him furious. He's extremely angry at Jack and his team because they killed his wife and are also killing the zombies he wanted to control to take over the world. So Norden makes another plan. Using his device, he goes around gathering zombies and builds a team. He plans to use them to attack the boat camp. On the other side, Jack thanks the boat camp's captain for agreeing to keep Megan. This camp was truly special. It only housed sick and helpless people who couldn't survive on their own in this world. So Jack tells Abigail that their mission is now complete. Tomorrow they'll leave. But Abigail gets angry because if Jack explains properly to the captain, they would also be allowed to stay. Nobody would kick them out. But Jack absolutely doesn't want Abigail to make herself weak by staying here. He always wants to see her strong, because there's no guarantee how long they can survive here. In this kind of world, they must always keep themselves strong. He clearly tells her they're not staying here. This starts a fight between them. But right then, a woman from the camp comes and tells them that Megan has given birth to a healthy baby. But Megan's condition is very bad. She might die by this evening. Hearing this, both Jack and Abigail are deeply shattered. Jack rushes to see Megan. Megan tells Jack she's happy just knowing she brought David and their child into this world. Since David is no longer alive, what's the point of her living? And she has no worries about her child because Jack is there for the baby. Saying this, Megan places her child in Jack's hands. Meanwhile, Abigail had started making friends with others at the boat camp. A boy from the camp shows her a secret escape route. If zombies ever attack the camp, they can escape through this path. The next morning, Norden arrives near the boat camp with his zombie army. He sends all the zombies onto the camp's ship and orders them to attack everyone. The zombies spread throughout the ship and start attacking the survivors one by one. Abigail and Jack realize what's happening and try to get all survivors out safely, saving as many people as possible. Norden comes to Abigail and pushes her down hard. Then he orders many zombies to go attack Jack. One zombie's attack sends Jack falling to a lower area, but just as the zombie is about to bite him, Jack manages to kill it. However, the fight had left Jack in terrible shape. He didn't have the strength to stand up. Right then, Norden comes to him and starts beating Jack relentlessly, but Jack had another plan. He seizes the moment and attacks Norden's device, smashing it completely with heavy blows. Then he runs away from there. Without the device to control them, the zombies turn on Norden and charge straight at him. Within moments, hundreds of zombies tear him apart. Meanwhile, with Abigail's help, Jack gets back up, but then a zombie attacks Abigail. She pushes it off, and as it falls, some photos slip out of its bag. Abigail also notices a bracelet on its wrist with her name written on it. Looking at the photos, Abigail realizes this zombie is actually her biological father. She becomes deeply emotional, but her father is now fully a zombie. So Jack wastes no time and takes Abigail to the secret escape route. They get out of the camp through it. Shortly after, a massive explosion occurs inside the camp, destroying most of the zombies along with it. But Abigail's zombie father was still chasing Jack. He was attacking Jack, and at one point was about to kill him. Now Abigail stood between Jack and her own father. She had to save one of them. At that moment, all the memories of her time with Jack come flooding back. How Jack had loved her like a father for all these years. How he had protected her with his own life. Thinking about all this, Abigail kills her own father. Jack rushes over and hugs Abigail tightly. Today, Abigail did exactly what Jack had done for her 10 years ago. Then Abigail and Jack look at all the survivors around them. These people are now their entire team. Looking at this big group, Jack and Abigail decide that from today, they will all survive together. They will teach everyone all the survival techniques they've learned, so that nobody ever has to die at the hands of zombies again. And this is how they'll build a new world. And with this beautiful ending, the story comes to a close right here.